So I grew up in North Georgia, in the
Mhm.
foothills, and I know you can't tell listening to this accent, right? But my first trip to the ocean was down on the Georgia coast, and I had never been to Cumberland Island. It's the southernmost island off the coast of the state of Georgia, and it is
Mm.
wild. It's a beautiful, mostly undeveloped island, but the Carnegie family in the 1800s bought property there and built a huge summer mansion called Dungeness. And Dungeness is the house
Mhm.
that's in this book. There are several other homes that are featured in this book that the Carnegie family also built. They had 9 children to build houses for.
There we
Right.
go.
Plum orchard that's also featured in the book is still standing and beautiful, and you can tour it. But the one that you can stay in as an inn is called Grayfield. And my husband and I went there for our 25th wedding anniversary. I had always wanted to see Cumberland, and I was enchanted with the idea of Grayfield in particular because in 1996 is when we got married, and JFK Jr. got married on Cumberland in a secret wedding that
Oh,
same
wow.
summer. News, and just thinking, oh, that's romantic. Isn't that cool that it's here in Georgia? And then I remember the tragedy of that plane crash a few years later. And I was obsessed with that.
Mm.
So when I had not even thought about that though, when we went to Cumberland for our anniversary until we pulled up alongside the island and those oak trees and all that Spanish moss, and it's totally wild. It's a national park now. Very quiet as we pulled up there. And I thought, oh, this would have been their 25th wedding anniversary too. And all the
Mm.
hair stood up on
Yeah.
my head. And I thought, if I was ever going to write a ghost story, this was the place to do it. And that's where kind of the idea began. And then I thought, the next thought from that was, our stories do haunt us, right? What if they really walked with us? What if they really literally walked along beside us? And so I started thinking about Cleo Woodbine and these imaginary friends from her childhood, and the idea that they would haunt her as an adult and keep her company on this little island she's living on as a recluse. So that's where that comes from. And the idea of the Carnegies in the background of that Southern Gothic-y little town, 1959, I wanted that mythology of them, like the old gods over on the island that are slowly
Mm.
disappearing because times were changing.
Mm.
Yeah, I loved it. And they're just so weird, those Gilded Age mansions there. They look like they just dropped from the sky. Like, how did they get here? They don't belong here at all.